1, 2. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that everyone should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things that I can do. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. Well, I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. Oh, I'd soar to the sun and look down to the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know. Yes, I'd sing, 'cause I know. Oh, I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels. How it feels. Oh, ooh, to be free. Ooh, ooh, Lord, yes, I do. All right, folks, hey, stay standing up. We got another song, okay? Maybe some of our older folks might remember a TV show from like the early 1970s featuring Marlo Thomas, and it had a song in it called Free to Be, You and Me. And we've got the words, and we want you all to just bounce along and have fun with us here. Here we go. There's a land that I see where the children are free, and I say it ain't far to this land from where we are. Take my hand, come with me, where the children are free. Come with me, take my hand, and we'll live in a land where the river runs free, in a land through the green country, in a land to the shining sea. And you and me are free to be, you and me. I see a land bright and clear, and the time's coming near when we'll live in this land, you and me, hand in hand. Come with me, come along, lend your voice to my song. Come along, take my hand, sing along for a land where the river runs free, for a land through the green country, for a land to a shining sea, for a land where the horses run free, and you and me are free to be, you and me. Every boy in this land grows to be his own man. In this land every girl grows to be her own woman. Take my hand, come with me, where the children are free. Come with me, take my hand, and then we'll run to a land where the river runs free, to a land through the green country, to a land, to a shining sea, to a land where the horses run free, to a land where the children are free. And you and me are where to be, you and me are free to be, and you and me are free to be, you and me.
All right, thanks everyone. It's great to see you all. It's great to see the church filled up here on a Sunday, especially in the summer. I know folks like to travel during this time of the year, but welcome to Unity, where everyone here is a reflection, a vibration, a manifestation of the one presence, the one power. And today we're going to be talking about freedom, but first let's turn to everybody around you and give a wave, a smile, a hello. This is a good place to be with your friends, so I think summertime is a great time if you want to invite a friend. And something else you can invite a friend to is our open mic happening this Thursday, 7 o'clock at the Fellowship Hall. It's always a great time. We've got lots of fun songs, real good variety of performances. You're welcome to join into that if you so choose, so just show up and enjoy. And looks like we got some young people here today. I'm going to hand it over to Tia for a second.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. So, a quick little announcement before we get to our blessing. Today is the day we are having our parent/volunteer/possible volunteer meeting. It's going to be right following the service. It's going to be up in the multi-purpose room. And we got some flyers, we got some questions, we got some updates. Anything you guys want to share that you want to see for our program. It's not my program, it's their program, it's your program. And I want to build that. That's what I'm here for. So, would love to see you there. And also, for those of you online, I have also sent out a Zoom link for it. If you have not gotten the Zoom link and you want it, send me an email, tia.rudman@unitytriangle.org. Love to see you guys there. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and bless our youth. Together, may your heart remain open to God's goodness. Thank you.
Thanks, Tia. And we're going to sing the welcome song together.
Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. Welcome into this place. Welcome into this open vessel. You desire to abide in the praises of your people. So we lift our hands and we lift our hearts as we offer up this praise unto your name. God's mighty power and God's grace.
present and former prayer chaplains, please stand and hold sacred space with us. We open our hearts to the universal and unending flow of divine love. In this sacred place, we turn our attention to the call of freedom for ourselves, for our community, and for every person named in this prayer box. We embrace the freedom that comes from our identity with the one power, the one presence, God the good, omnipotent. We are free in the Spirit. As our lives unfold, we open ourselves to the inner wellspring of freedom that comes from divine source, a freedom that goes deeper than our circumstances and our understanding. We align our thoughts and actions with Spirit, and we find we are free and empowered to serve others. By our actions, we affirm that all are free. We are grateful for this beautiful gift and this truth, and we share our own awakening with others. And so it is. Amen.
Let's adjust, get our bodies right and comfortable so that we can deepen into relaxation, allowing our minds to follow, that we might go deeper into who we are, into the presence, the one presence. So let's relax and trust. Trust that if you relax, nothing bad will happen. Trust that if you relax, you will go deeper. Trust as you relax, you may hear what you've been wanting to hear. And as we go deeper, let us give a focus to our breath. Let it be the heart center. Breathing into the heart center, we invite the breath to energize the heart. And with each breath, the heart gets brighter, more energetic, more open. And as it opens, let us let love pour out to all that we are, our whole being. Today we celebrate freedom. Let us start with this most profound freedom, the freedom to love yourself. So let us love. And let us add this second freedom, the freedom to forgive and to move on. us also celebrate expression, becoming, unfolding, finding what you have come here to be, to do, and to know. Let us celebrate that you are free to be free, free to know who you are, and free to express it. And on top of that, we live in a country founded on the idea of freedom. We live in a world through the long arc of history moving toward freedom. And we live in a time when that which binds us and holds us back most, we know now are our own thoughts. So let us pursue freedom. Let us honor freedom. And let us be free as we sit together in holy silence.
This day our daily bread, you said you would supply all my needs according to your riches. I have but to ask, and I shall receive. To go from here and share this love you gave to me, to show someone who's lost and help them find their way, the way to truth and faith, so they can be free like me, free like me. Lord, we are your love. Lord, we are your peace. Lord, we are your joy. This day.
Well, this is a happy day. Because on this day we celebrate a lot of freedoms, and one of those freedoms, of course, was started a long time ago with the Declaration of Independence. Is a freedom from England and freedom from being dominated by a power across the sea, by a king who didn't respond to them, by all the things that kept the colonies in their place. They signed a declaration on 1776 on July 4th that this country or these colonies would decide to leave England. Now, the writer of the primary writer of the Declaration of Independence was Thomas Jefferson. And Thomas Jefferson was a brilliant man, and he was famous for architecture as well as for starting the University of Virginia, was quite the patriot, a man of science, lots of things. Brilliant, high-minded, and also a slaveholder, as were 1/3 of the people who signed the Declaration of Independence. So one of the things we find at that time was that the freedoms that we were talking about in the Declaration of Independence were not equally spread across all the population. They were really reserved for the people who were much more like Thomas Jefferson, landowners, white, free. So that's how the country started. And it's been a long time, and over time we have been expanding those who we enfranchise as equal and of deserving of freedom. Prominently, with slavery being such a big part of this country, that became a big enough issue that we had a civil war to decide if we were going to continue to have slaves in this country or to let everyone be free. And during that time, 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. That did not actually release all the enslaved. The last people to hear about it came 2 years later, after the Civil War was over, when a general came down to the Galveston area and let everyone know there that they were free. That is why we celebrate Juneteenth. It happened, I think, on the 17th of June, 1865. And we celebrated on the 19th of June. I'm not sure I got those dates exactly right, but you get the gist that this celebrates the moment when the last person in the United States that was enslaved was told they were free. It was interesting when I was reading the history of this. Texas was so far from the northern border but in the war between the states that slaveholders and their slaves, 150,000 of them, moved to Texas after the Emancipation Proclamation. So there were more than the usual amount. This is a very interesting country, isn't it? Thomas Jefferson originally wrote into the Declaration of Independence that there would be an ending of slavery of some sort, and yet his whole financial system was based on this very difficult economic system of enslavement. And his moral character found it offensive, and yet he was conflicted enough that he, over his lifetime, had 600 people enslaved under him. It's an interesting history, the United States. Now, the third thing that we're celebrating, 4th of July, Juneteenth, is also Pride Month. In 1969, there was essentially a rebellion of the LGBTQ population at Stonewall, and that became the foundation of the push for the rights of those who, based on their sexuality, had been excluded from being a full-fledged citizen with the rights and privileges, whether it was out and out stated, which it was in some places, or whether it was just practice. The practice of extending freedom to others, unfortunately, has hardly ever come out of just plain generosity. We have had to ask for it, stand for it, and demand it. In the Revolutionary War, there were years of fighting the British. The Civil War, 5 more years. Fortunately, it hasn't been as bloody since, but this process of becoming free has not been easy. And it is worth celebrating every piece of freedom that we have. For while we might be dissatisfied with many things in our lives, we must say that this is a process that is unfolded quite beautifully, in a sense, if we can take the long view and not feel it personally when it's against us. One of the things that happened to me as a child was, I grew up in Sanford, North Carolina, and at that time there were 2 school systems, as there were a lot of things like drinking fountains, bathrooms, the general indignities that people of my race did to the people of the black race were quite numerous and so built into the system that we hardly knew they were happening at the time because we were kind of accustomed to it. But the glaring retrospective inspection of those just shows us how we can be so insensitive to people and treat them as though they were not people. And I think one of the beautiful things about this church, the unity movement in general, is from its beginning it has had no restriction on who could be a minister. I like to tell this story. I was a ministerial student at Unity Village, and that was about the mid-90s, and I looked on the wall there of the very first class, which had been 1906, I think, or something like that, and it was 5 people had been ordained. It might have been 6. I believe it was 6. It was 5 women and 1 gay man. You could tell he was gay. He was like, there was no doubt about it. And it started us on a trajectory which reinforced our deepest beliefs that we are all part of the one presence, one power. We're all part of God. We are all sisters and brothers because we have the same parent. This has been a foundational belief in unity, and we have never had to have a vote whether a gay person could be part of the clergy, or a woman, or a black person, or a brown person, or any other color would not be welcomed. We've had every type of person become a minister in this church. Every type I know of have become ministers. It speaks so well of the underlying foundational belief system professed and expressed in this community. And so one of my hopes when I came back to North Carolina, having been gone for 25 years, having seen a little bit of change before I left, what I really hoped for in the church that I was going to be a minister in is that it would be both black and white. And now I expand it to everything else you can be. In between colors, in between sexual orientation, rich, poor, lucky, unlucky, old and young. I want everybody to feel like this is their home, that this is their place, blue and red as well. That this is a place where it doesn't matter the texture of your outside. We are here to find what is the core, who you really are, and to celebrate that. It is my belief that when we celebrate that, we come closer to reaching the goals and the aspirations of the Declaration of Independence, which says we're all created equal with certain unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if we stick to the truth, starting with the core of who we are, the out manifestation of that core should include a state of generosity to all people in the way of acceptance, appreciation, and love. And cooperation will be the biggest thing, that there will be fewer arguments about unessential things, and that we will march forward into a future that we are co-creating or with each other, that we are making, that represents who we are at our core and not what our history has been. For we're the lucky ones to have found a community, to found other people that say either silently or verbally, we agree with you. We trust that you are a child of God, and that as I honor that child in you, that nature, your nature, I will be better. And the times I don't see it, I will work to forgive. And when I have done that, I will work to embrace. So it is my hope that we keep this up. That as we spend more time exploring who we really are at the core of who our being is, as we spend more time in a state of recognition that the true nature of us is actually beyond all that we see, that the true nature of us is something that endures and actually lives in a state of eternity and not in this great arc of history, but has been a baseline for all existence forever and is a baseline for us at this moment. And when we rest and find the peace that passes understanding by being in that state, when we emerge back into the world, we come not as someone trying to overcome their prejudices, but by someone who's trying to express their divinity. And the liberation that brings to us, where we're not in correction mode, but in expression mode, I think will be so rewarding to us that as we march out into the streets or we stay at home, we will be doing the same work, because we will be expressing that which is God-given in us, which is God in us. That will be our legacy. Because we're not struggling so much to make corrections in this room, we can make advancements more easily. That by recognizing who we are at our core, by taking that in as a deep breath, when we exhale love and compassion. And exhaling love and compassion fits the very needs of everyone that we know in the world. For all of us have a life that on the surface that has good days and bad days. It has obstacles to overcome and death to face. And we need something that is more enduring, more permanent, more eternal than just the vacillations of the day. We need to remember that our lives have purpose and are moving towards something, and what we're moving toward as fast as we can at this moment is realizing our true identity. And in this realization, we will become that which we have always wanted: peace, love, and happiness, acceptance of the way things are. We will go beyond the complicated expressions of karma and live in the eternal, in the now, in the here. And there will be something about us that will keep us from falling backwards. It seems like this country knows well how to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And so it is in our lives also, isn't it? We sometimes take a step forward and then we fall back. But I think the longer we hang out in the experience of our oneness with the divine, the less steps back we will be taken. And if we take one back, we will clearly know, that all is well, no matter what has happened. I want to read you something from Rumi. This one cracks me up. I don't know why it cracks me up, but it does. Trust means you're willing to risk what you already have. I personally have found that this practice of trust has been just a glorious, fun thing for me because I like to take a chance. And I think my surface is so full of blessings already, I can lose a few, right? So let's just throw ourselves at it. And I believe one of the things, if you look at Jesus, Jesus was an enormous risk taker, talking to the Pharisees and the Sadducees like they were punks and telling them they didn't know nothing, and yet they had been the scholars of the time, right? He was a trusting man. He trusted essentially that no matter what happened to him, he was on the right path. So he walks into Jerusalem trusting that even though he may die in the process of liberation of the minds of the Jews and the Gentiles, even though he may die, he trusts, though he might lose his life, he trusts. And he takes enormous risk, knowing it might, and of course, if it had been me, I would have gone, this is going to happen. You know, he did it anyway. Trust. For us to advance, we have to trust. We have to be willing to risk what we have already. You know, one of the very difficult things that's happening in this country right now, especially since the Black Lives Matter movement, is white people are scared to say anything because we have been so bad at saying everything. But to bridge the gap between us, let's just be trusting that in the end all will go well if our intentions are high enough. And if we can take the stares and the snarls that come when it pricks somebody's sensitivities, just trust over time our next steps will be together and not apart. I think that goes for everybody. When we're talking about sexuality, when we're talking about political leanings, when we're talking about our personal lives, with our partners, with our friends, a sense of trust will help us bridge those gaps between each other. I want to read you a poem by Hafiz. The small man builds cages for everyone he knows, while the sage, who has to duck his head when the moon is low, keeps dropping keys all night long for the beautiful, rowdy prisoners. I think we should set our prejudices free. We should say to our prejudices, you know, I came by you honestly. I believe my mother taught me that. Coming back to Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was accused of being an atheist in his time. It was part of the ugly politics of the day. And they were quite ugly, and it was so ugly, as I said a couple of weeks ago, that George Washington wanted to get out of politics and go home and be on his plantation with his 450 slaves. But what they said about Jefferson was he was an atheist because he chose to think freely about religion and to say that he didn't think that the standard Christianity of his day was tolerable for him as his own belief. And so he says, I am a sect unto myself. I make up my own mind. I choose my own way of thinking about God and the world. When I was in ministerial school, we had fun days every once in a while, and one of my professors, which I've told you all before, was very good at imitating Guido Sarducci. And he told us, declared to us one thing, a truth that has stuck with me ever since. Every person a pope. Or as he said, every person a pope. You know, so we were liberated by the boss of our education that we could be free in our thinking. And that's where real freedom lies. Because no one can cage your thoughts if you don't. Only you live inside that world that you have constructed. And while you may affect others, for better or for worse, according to your thoughts, it is your cage if you let it be one. And so the real freedom that I want us to pay attention to when we're in this space, above kindness even, above courtesy, above respect, of love and all that, is let us be alert to the cages we've placed around our own thinking that keep us from seeing the world clearly, from seeing ourselves as children of God, and the core of every person we see, that we cease to see them of what's the texture on the surface, and we recognize that the real basis of who they are, that one presence, that one power. You know, Michael and Anna and I are going to put together a little workshop. I think I told you all about it before. We're all three going to come at it somewhat differently, because we all three come at this whole process of being enlightened to our own divinity somewhat differently. But we've all agreed that the path that where we want to end up, the destination where we want to end up, is that it will be easier for anyone who has heard what we had to say, that it would be easier for them to go, oh, I get it. I am that one presence. And oh my God, this is the way I do it. I do it this way. This is the way I do it. But we are all on the path. And when you're on the path with others, doesn't it feel better? Right? Then you're thinking you're out there by yourself, the lone person, the struggling person who goes, because the path is a bit convoluted. Now, karma could be part of the problem we have. Michael's going to do a workshop this next Saturday on karma. And I really think one of the things that would be good for you to get, at least this is my, like I said, we come at it somewhat differently, so I'm not going to predict what Michael's going to say, but let me say this on the idea of karma, because I want to get out there before he does. You have the surface, and on the surface things change. On the surface, there's time, there's history, there's cause and effect. These are the rules of the surface of your life. There's the Big Bang, and then there's all the causation that has brought us to this moment. And it's really quite fascinating, and we endlessly can explore this. And that cause and effect, boom, tumbling toward this moment, explains, according, if that's all you're thinking about, I think, the karma story says, this is why it's so, the tumbling of cause and effect to this moment. Good to know. Real freedom, here's my answer, it's not everybody's answer. Real freedom is not only paying attention and doing the best on the surface, but coming to the core of who you are, to that part that was always in the present, always the now, always transcended everything, because it was the awareness or the consciousness that held this up and let it play out. Lets the light and shadow and the good and the bad and the highs and lows and the left and the right and the blue and the gray and the white and the black and the green and the yellow, all that play out. That plays out. But underneath is this one presence that holds the space for everything. And when we shift our full attention away from that for a while to being in this, then we find that peace that transcends understanding. And the very thing you thought you could get by fixing everything over here, you actually find by turning your attention the other way. Look, it's here. Because it is me. I am that. And everybody I see is that. And even their dog is that. Everybody. That is the basis of everything. And we can be too confused and too deluded and too tired and too angry and too to turn our attention here, or we can just say, you'll be here when I get back. I'm going to go take a look at the nature of who I am. Because in my understanding, real freedom is not in fixing everything. Real freedom is knowing your true identity. So on this day, when we celebrate this country, we celebrate the 13th Amendment. We celebrate rights of all people to have a life of sexuality according to their needs and desires. When we celebrate that today, let's also look to see that all that surface has been supported by the consciousness that we call God, and yet that consciousness is us as well. And our true freedom is not just a freedom from our troubles, but the freedom to know peace and love and belonging and being. That's the core of who you are, and your freedom lies there. Let us pray. Let's start by doing gratitude. Let us be grateful that the words of Frederick Douglass can be heard in a new light. A few excerpts from his 4th of July speech. Fellow citizens, I'm not wanting in respect for the fathers of this republic. The signers of the Declaration of Independence were brave men. They were great men too, great enough to give frame to a great age. It does not happen often to a nation to rise at one time at such a number of great men. The point from which I am compelled to view them is not certainly the most favorable, yet I cannot contemplate their great deeds with less than admiration. He goes on to talk about the 4th of July is not for him because he does not feel free, because he was not free at the time. He is a person who was emblematic of someone who knew his worth and dignity, yet had been trampled on by the minds and thoughts and actions of others. And so he knew the 4th of July for him was not a thing of freedom because he was not free. And fortunately, I believe we can say that is no longer the case. And fortunately also that we have decided that people of any sexual orientation can marry each other and share in the miseries of marriage like everybody else. So we have much to be grateful for. So now let us also be grateful that we have friends companions on the path that leads to ultimate freedom. That we're all longing to be free and to experience life as God instead of a creature, as spirit instead of body, as trust and love instead of fear. We are so lucky. And so it is. Amen.
I don't know why, but it feels like freedom. I hear a song that takes me back, and I let go with so much freedom. Free to live, I'm gonna get, 'cause I got my freedom. I love how you talk when you're speaking my language. The way that you walk, you can't contain it. Is it the shoes? Jump up, kangaroo. We're overdue for a little more prancing. Now it's your time.
It's your right.
You can shine.
It's all right.
If you do, then I'm gonna do too. Woo! When I move my body just like this, I don't know why, but it feels like freedom. I hear a song that takes me back. Oh, let go of so much freedom. Free to live. I'm gonna get, oh, 'cause it's my freedom. The reason we can get down is to get back up. If someone's around, go on, give them a love. Can't stand still, ooh, they ain't no drill. It's more than cheap thrill. Ooh. Now it's your time.
It's all right.
You can shine.
It's all right.
If you do, then I'm gonna do too. When I look up to the stars, I know exactly who we are. 'Cause then I see you shine. You shine, you shine, shine, shine. Free to be. Everybody come around, get free. Come on now, hit the floor. Ooh, oh, everybody come on now. Ooh, step to the dance floor. With the whole tape, with the whole tape to the wall. With the whole tape, with the whole tape. When I move my body just like this, I don't know why, but it feels like freedom. I hear a song, take me back. Oh, let go with freedom. Free to live.
I want to live.
I'm gonna get,
What I'm gonna
'cause
get.
it's my freedom.
Good morning, Unity. Sorry. Sorry about that. Quincy Garbett here. Thank you, Tim and Jay, and thank you, Newsom, for your message. I'm going to do the announcements today. So we have big news. For the first time ever, as Newsom announced, Reverend Newsom, Michael, and Anna will be teaching a workshop together. The One Presence, One Power Realized. This concept of oneness is more than a simple philosophy. It's a sacred invitation. And in this transformational workshop, you will learn the practical techniques that allow each of us to discover an unbreakable relationship with the allness of God. There is so much joy and contentment available with this realization. Do not miss this special event on July 26th. It will be special, y'all, because we believe this core concept of oneness and non-duality can reinvigorate the unity movement worldwide. It can reinvigorate those that are around you, to be honest. And Reverend Newsom, Michael, and Anna will present it at the annual retreat for the Unity Ministers of the Mid-Atlantic States in September. So here's where you play an important part, or I should say we play an important part. Not only will we be able to hear it on July 26, your participation and feedback will help them build their final presentation so they'll deliver it at that conference. Pre-registration is required. All the information is on the website. Just search One Presence and go save your spot today. So if you have one of these, you got it out front, and if you're at home and online, we want to highlight the Unity small groups. I'm a part of several. I'm a part of the men's group. I went to the men's breakfast yesterday. I have been to the hiking groups. I also co-lead the LGBTQ affinity group that we have here known as Worthy for Allies and Advocates. And I can say, this will fold into the Bring a Friends thing that I'll get to shortly. We have people that are part of that group that don't even come here as well. They get an experience of unity from being a part of that. Find a group. I had the analogy in my mind of thinking of, if you think of coming here on Sunday as being a part of the vine, connected to the vine, we know this analogy, and then you see yourselves as grapes on that vine. The little bunches of grapes, the little bundles, those are the small groups. And if you think of it from that way, you're always connected to the experience of unity in a different way. So, speaking of which, Bring a Friend, we heard about the open mic. I just promoted the small groups. The best way to get the word out is not just from someone, which we've had, people just searching online, finding unity, but there's folks around you that know you. And all you have to do is just be yourself and tell them a little bit about where you go to church, what you do, or the social events you tie into. Some people come here to this community not because of finding it online. They come from small groups. We've had people pop into the open mic, or people that found, when I used to lead an online group, Spiritual Dialogue, people found the Spiritual Dialogue, dialed into it, and then next thing you know, they joined this church. So, now let's talk about karma. Essentially, karma suggests that every action, intention, or thought has a consequence that influences future experiences. So what does karma mean to you spiritually? Does it affect the way you perceive God, your relationships, and your worldly experiences? Is karma our fate, or do we have a choice in how life unfolds? In this 2-hour spiritual education workshop, Understanding Karma with Reverend Michael Gadaway, we will explore the concept of karma more deeply, looking from both a biblical and a Vedic perspective in order to gain insight and a clearer understanding of the choices available to all of us. Now, I want to transition to this community. This community is very important to me. I serve in many different capacities here. We serve with our talents and we serve with our treasure. I want to welcome you to also sow into the community through your gifts. For those of you that are online, there is a click to donate orange button on the website, and for those of you that are here, you can take advantage of using the various ways to give, text to give. You can go out front to the desk out there and there's card readers. I do want to welcome you to pause and reflect, and I invite the greeters to stand as we say this affirmation together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let the love wash over us. We let it be. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
I hope you got something out of today's service. We intend to bring you things that will help you in your life become more of who you want to be, give you the freedom of forgiveness and the hope of expectancy that your life will unfold in a way that brings you joy, happiness, and is a contribution to the world. If you would like to contribute to this ministry, please go to unitytriangle.org, hit the donate button, and it will lead you into an easy way of doing that. We thank you for your attention and look forward to seeing you again here.